All right, so I got on a trade from a buddy of mine, the Napa 85-2500 battery charger. All right. Yeah, it's old, but you know what? Why not? Give it a shot, see if it works. And if it doesn't work, so be it. But also, if it doesn't work, let's see if we can fix it. All right, so I'm going to turn it on to 12 volts, 10 amps. And I really don't want to do this, but I'll try it out because it's sketchy as hell. And it's going crazy. So obviously it's working, but it's not getting the connection that's constant. So let's check this out. I wasn't gonna actually do a video on this thing, and I probably won't because first of all, I'm not an electrician, right? I'm just some guy trying to fix this battery charger that doesn't want to work. So I took off all the screws and lifted this guy off, and I'm wondering what in the heck is going on here, because this is all webs. Like, look at this. There might be creatures living in this. Thank God I didn't leave it on any longer than I had to figure it out on the multimeter. So I may or may not get back to this video, but this was definitely worth taking a video on just to see what kind of craziness is going on here. All right, so this is where I'm at right now. I cleaned up the interior, all right? I blew it out with compressed air, and I cleaned out all of the connections, all right, with just this little pipe cleaner and some isopropyl alcohol. But what I'm gonna do is play it safe for now and hook up the positive and negative, all right, of the charger to this battery, all right? But I'm just gonna test this battery to see where it's at. It's dead as can be. Let's set this to DC, all right? And I'm gonna test the voltage just to see where we're at, all right? So it's, well, 12, 1, 2. I'm gonna hook this up just so it has a load. Now, look at these connections. They're just super nasty. Like, oh, geez, I don't even want to take this off. I might break it. Now I'm just going to check the connections. Well, it looks like it actually has a good connection. So that can't really be the culprit. All right. Now, I will sand these down, all right, and create a good connection. And even look at this one. All right. Now, let's have a look at this guy. Well, there's no loose connection. You know, it's awfully, rusted, corroded. I'm sure that's a major factor. All right. That can't be good. But let's just put this on and see where it's at right now. All right. Ugh, this is so sketchy. Just, ay, ay, ay. Now, I want to turn this to 12 volts, 10 amps, and not get crazy. I'm going to turn this on to DC. all right, voltage. Now let's check it out. Now I'm going to turn this on. So 12 volts, 10 amps. Everything's hooked up. Now it's kind of making a mellow sound. A lot quieter than I'm used to. And I'm going to test the battery. 13.8. That's not too bad. I wouldn't mind 14, but... All right, just for shits and giggles, we're going to see if this cord is working properly. All right, so let's test the continuity. So let's hook this up, and this should be the positive, and it's leading out into here. And let's check the ohms. It says 0.1. All right, let's test the negative. Up here. Point 1, 2, 3. Well, we know it's working. So let's test the DC resistance. Okay, so we got the positive over here. So I'm going to follow the positive to where it ends. And let's see where we're at. So 0.1, 0.2. All right, so let's try the negative. All right, so got the negative, good to go. And let's check the resistance. 0.4, 0.5, 0.3. So, okay, 0.2. All right, so I've come to the conclusion that I should probably change these clamps out. All right. These are pretty nasty. Now, I have a hard time believing that these are rated for 200 amps. All right. So I went out and bought some clamps. All right. And these are rated for 400 amps. And it also says for 4 to 6 gauge cable. Now, it's a no-brainer that these should be more than sufficient, but 4 to 6 gauge cable. Now, if you were to ask me, what gauge is this cable rated for? Well, we established that it's 0.2 ohms. That's the resistance, okay, of this cable at 5 feet. And if it's 0.2 ohms, that kind of equates to DC voltage at around 3 to 4 gauge cable. All right. Oh, my dog is yawning here. Sorry. 3 to 4 gauge cable. So 4 to 6 is more than sufficient. So let's change these out. All right. So I labeled this as a negative because who knows, once I clip these guys, I don't want to mix them up. All right, so now I have a pair of swagers. I've used these for coyote snares, so I'm going to see if I can just crimp this on a little tighter. And let's have a look here. All right. Seems like a pretty good job. All right, so let's test this guy under load to see whether or not we're getting more voltage. All right. So before we tested this dead ass battery with these clamps, all right, this battery it ranges 12.08 volts, totally dead. Okay. And I believe we read around 13.8. All right. When we turned on the battery charger at 12 volts, 10 amps. So let's give that a shot right now. Well, we're at 14.06. So it looks like these clamps are doing their job. Let's try the charger. So I hooked up the leads, and let's try this charger at 12 volts, 10 amps. Okay, 10.69. That's pretty good. And let's try 12 volts, 30 amps. 12.57. All right, so overall, I think I got pretty lucky, and I didn't have to get into the rectifier and other components of this charger. And 9 times out of 10, it's just something simple like the connections. All right, hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully you can save a battery charger in the future.